From Lenexa to Lee's Summit, you're listening to Mundo in the Morning on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
So I shared this last night. It came from a state rep, Renee Erickson, and it showed the Kansas property tax percentage change over the last nearly 30 years. And it shows here that the Kansas population from 1997 to 2025 is up about 14%. Inflation over that time is up 90%. The amount of money spent on education in property taxes up 224%. And the amount of money spent on a percentage basis on local governments over the last 28 years up 272%. Dave Trabert with the Kansas Policy Institute is here on KCMO. And then I find out it was Dave's chart that was being used in Topeka yesterday. Dave, good morning. You know, we're sitting here. We got this vote today in Olathe. They've got a bond issue on the ballot. DeSoto, same thing. And this comes as spending from a taxpayer perspective appears to be out of control. And this money is not even like for teachers or for the classrooms. It's basically, you know, capital improvements. How should people take the data that you put out there and assess it as it relates to today's votes in Olathe and DeSoto?
Well, good morning, Pete, and thanks for having me. The property taxes, some property taxes is used for capital outlay, some for bonds. Others are used for general operational purposes. But whether it's schools or local governments, it's gone up. There's just no excuse for how much it's gone up. It's 2 to 3 times inflation plus population. And in the case of schools, now we're seeing schools with declining enrollment and property taxes continue to increase. I shared that chart in a presentation yesterday, and Senator Erickson sent it out during the presentation, actually. And just because there's a lot of focus right now on trying to get an assessment limit passed and a revenue limit that would allow people to sign a protest petition for outsized tax increases. And there's a real tug of war because there's a lot of interests in the House and Senate who really want to protect government more so than taxpayers. And so this is a heavy lift, and we're trying to find ways to help people understand that these increases are just out of control.
They are, and we've talked about what to do about it because, you know, the assessments are now out. People can go look up their assessments across Johnson County, and I would imagine that's the case across the state right now. And, you know, these assessments are, once again, up fairly significantly. And, you know, helping on the assessment front would be great, but it doesn't necessarily mean that your property taxes stay in check. If the local governments can toy with the mill levies, and same thing with the local school districts, your taxes can continue to go up. What's your read right now on what's happening in Topeka? And if there's any serious plan in place to actually solve this for Kansans this legislative session?
I think there's an honest attempt to do it. There's still some differences between the House and Senate, but not as many differences as there were a year ago. We're getting there, but there's some, the cities and the counties and the school districts are lobbying very hard to try to stop the protest petition that would deal with basically what you were talking about, the mill rate. So if they wanted to take in more than, say, 3% in new revenue, then that would be subject to a protest petition where citizens can shut it down. And that's what they don't want.
So who's out there lobbying? Local governments and unions, or who is it exactly?
It's the local governments for them. Not all, interestingly, not all. There are a few that are in support of both the revenue limit and the assessment limit. But generally speaking, yes, it's the cities and the counties and the school districts, the teacher union, the state school board association, the people who generally profit from higher property taxes are fighting it.
And even with the Republican majority in the House and the Senate, you think that this thing could be up for grabs and, they might acquiesce?
It's uncertain. yes, and this is again where it doesn't really matter whether you run as a Republican or a Democrat. We have so many people who are more focused on their number one priority being getting back in office.
Yep.
And if they think that going against the heavy lobbyists is going to endanger that, then they back off. I mean, you look at the polling. This is an 80-20 issue with Democrats.
What is?
And in the assessment limit.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, but then when you look at the vote on the Senate on the assessment limit, you had 2 Democrats out of 9 vote for this. The other 7 were against it, and they spoke vocally against it. By the same token, we had 3 Republicans vote against it. And they were looking for, they didn't think it was fair to local government. I mean, it's hard to believe. You hear people say these things out loud. Well, we got to be fair to local government. People are getting taxed out of their homes. And there's folks worried about being fair to local government.
You got to be kidding me.
I'm not. These are the ones who
know.
caused it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Let me ask you here in the last couple of minutes, Dave Trabert. Laura Kelly on Friday, as you write here on the Sentinel, backs down, releases snap data to the feds. Explain to me in the next couple of minutes here why Laura Kelly's trying to take a win on something that she clearly is taking a loss on.
Well, there's a saying out in western Kansas, don't try to tell me it's raining outside while your dog's whizzing on my boots. And that's kind of what she's doing here. She's trying to claim, well, she cut a deal with the Trump administration, and they agreed not to share the data with foreign governments. Like they were ever going to do that. This is not an administration that goes out handing private information to foreign governments. But she wanted to put out a press release. The reality is there was another audit that came out recently showing that Kansas has very high error rates.
Meaning
people
stamps.
Were getting government... Yeah, on food stamps. People are getting food stamps who don't really, probably don't deserve it because of all these error rates. Mm-hmm. And there's legislation pending forcing it. It was going to happen. She resisted as long as she could. And now she's trying to say, oh, I win, you can have it.
Wow.
It's nobody believes it in Topeka.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, you're staying on it there at the Sentinel with the Kansas Policy Institute. Dave Trabert, good to have you on, my friend. Thanks so much for being here on the show. We appreciate the time.
Thanks, Pete. Have a good day.
All right. You as well. Dave Trabert, good stuff there on KCMO Talk Radio.